That's right.
I want to also remember the military significance of Black Solidarity Day. Once upon a time, on Black Solidarity Day, Charles, Baron, I know you're going to remember this day. Somebody paid what was called the Clinton Correctional Facility in Clinton, New Jersey, a visit and did an extraction mission in the tradition of our underground railroad, our underground tradition, and liberated one beloved, cherished freedom fighter and daughter of struggle. I'm talking about none other than Assata Shakur. Y'all remember that? I was so proud to just give up my seat just a moment ago to her comrade, Sundiata Kolayar. Under no circumstance was I going to get on this mic this day and not acknowledge that military development. You know, we have a military history. And we need to embrace all of our history.
Yes.
We didn't just build when it came time to tear it down. God damn it, we tore it down. And there are times when you may have to do that. We don't have a solid liberty without comrades like Hocul. I want y'all to put this great warrior this great combatant of the Black Liberation Army in your prayers. You know he is not well. Very challenging medical condition. And you know what? Folks like this in this room are checking and taking care of Hocul around the clock. Right. That's how we got to take care of each other. That's right. Remember, I want you to remember. We in church, right? Yeah. Right? This is the people's church, right? Yeah. We need to be lifting up some prayer for Hocul. That's right. That's right. And I didn't come up here really to say anything. But I just learned that this is on behalf of our Malcolm X commemoration committee. You know, this is our 30th anniversary year. And this coming weekend marks the 60th anniversary of his most seminal message, the mighty, mighty message to the grassroots. Revolution involves bloodshed. And he also talked about, most importantly and most practically, the question of a united front. I want you to put also in your prayers Mama Aya Lua first, a loved comrade, founding chairman, and long distance runner for struggle and former political prisoner Herman First. And you see well that Mama is not doing well. They're 90 years young and she is not doing well suddenly. And we really want to reach out to them. When we can get back in some physical space, we are going to rename y'all remember our annual dinner tributes to the political freedom fighters? We are renaming that the Aya Lua Ferguson annual Freedom Fighters Dinner Tribute when we can get back on our feet in live space. But until then, Friday in Detroit at the King Solomon Baptist Church, where Malcolm sounded his death drum 60 years ago. Malcolm X grassroots movement is having an observation of that epic seminal moment for Malcolm. And the following day, we will do one virtually. So if you haven't got the email yet, I'm coming off of Facebook suspension. I'll shoot it back out tomorrow. You know, when you talk about Palestinian people having the right to raise holy hell, to defend their lives and resist that genocide, you know the Zionist gatekeepers are going to panicking to press their buttons. But we're going to give them a lot of buttons to press. In this moment, the question of the United Front is as important as ever. 1969, that same year, the Black Panther Party called for a national united front against fascism. Don't think it ain't in the air. And it ain't just Trump. It's a whole army of sick, racist, backward folks who are desperate in their fear of losing control of white privilege and this stinky thing called capitalism, and they're desperate, they're wild, and they're crazy as hell. But one thing they have, you better not sleep on, because Sun Tzu said, don't underestimate your enemy. They have unity. And if we are going to beat their behind to stay the hand of fascism, and guess what? We have to beat their behinds to stay the hand of fascism, or they will feast on us making fascism happen. It's not like we have a choice. We have a responsibility. Standing on shoulders like Sekou and Sundiata and Asada and Kawasaki and G2 and Sun. We have an obligation to stand up. Build that united front and stand the hand of fascism. Y'all all right with that? Y'all all right with that? Stand head. Stand down. Build the united front. My enemies necessary.
I was telling.
Who's gonna win?
We are.
How we gonna do it?
The hard way.
How we gonna do it?
The hard way.
We had it any other way?
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Red.
Red.
Black.
Black.
Green.
Green.
Red.
Red.
Black.
Black.
Green.
Green.
Black power.
Black power.
And black solidarity.
Black solidarity.
Zaid's like them old times say, Boy Scouts, be prepared. He walked in and said, we got something for you. He said, I'm ready.
Born red.
It's like he read our agenda. He said all the points we need to hit. Reparations, fascism, struggle. We're going to talk a little bit about reparations and the New York State Reparations Bill. And what we're going to do is going to bring up the architect of the New York State Reparations Bill. Who is that? Who is that guy? Oh, that's just the captain, Charles Barron.
That is the most unprepared speech. Black power. Black power. Black people.
Black people.
Free Africa.
Free Africa.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Africa.
Free Africa.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
This is a great time to be alive.
Yes, sir.
We're witnessing a revolution occurring all over the globe. Capitalism is dying. Imperialism is dying.
Yes, sir.
When you look at Africa, and you look at the Sahel region, the uprisings there in Africa, like never before. Africans are saying France, out of Africa. United States, out of Africa. And Russia and China, if it ain't real business, out of Africa. And this goes back to what Marcus Garvey said, Africa for the Africans.
That's right.
Those at home and those abroad. So I want to welcome you to this event, even though I came late, because the December 12th movement is my heart. Let's give them a big hand. You know, this is all about power. In the 60s, we said black power. We did the black, but we didn't get the power. We said black power, put on our dashikis, changed our names, had Kawaii theory, had Kwanzaa, Black History Month, but we didn't get the power. Power is the great equalizer. Doesn't matter if someone is racist when you have power. Their racism becomes irrelevant because you have power power to control the destinies of our community. And we have to address that question of power. Power is the ability to act without needing anybody else to do anything.
Yes, sir.
Power is the ability for you to defend what you believe in without being concerned about what anybody else is thinking or doing. Influence is when we have to demonstrate, scream, and holler to persuade those people in power to do our best interests. We must understand the difference between influence and power. We got into the electoral arena because it would give us a little semblance of some power. The December 12th movement has been with us from the beginning. When we started in this electoral arena, we don't need no more ancient mamas, Uncle Tom, sellout Negroes and Negresses.
That's right.
We need black, radical revolutionaries in the electoral arena. And I'm telling you, it does make a difference when you're a black radical. It was great for us to be in the assembly and tell the caucus up there that you have to deal with reparations.
That's right.
That we are going to put a bill forward. And we put a bill forward on reparations that said, after they took all the stuff that we wrote and they changed one part of it, we said that the community groups, D12 and Cobra, Institute of the Black World, they should pick the commission. Then, when I left to go to the city council, they changed it and said the state will pick the commission. But you know what? So what? It's on their desk. We were the architects of that. We now got to hold them accountable. So whatever commission comes out of that, we got to make sure that it is not just a study. It's been studied enough. We're talking remedies.
That's right.
We're talking remedies.
That's right.
Right now, Joe Biden can have a presidential executive order and say we're putting $50 billion toward health. He can do that tonight. Remember, you got on TV, black people, y'all put me in, but I got your back. Yeah, we pulling out the knife that you put in our back.
That's right.
That you gave nothing else. But I'm telling you, in this electoral arena, there's a lot we can do if we remain principled and radical and see it not as a panacea. We're not going to be able to vote our way to freedom. We know that. Just like we ain't going to be able to march our way to freedom. We ain't going to be able to out-economic anybody our way to freedom. But that is one strategy where we can say, hey, we made them do a letter to the parole board for Jalil Montague. He's out.
That's right.
They did a letter to the parole board for Herman Bell. He got out.
That's right.
We got them to do a letter to the parole board for Seth Hayes.
That's right.
He got out. Unfortunately, he made his transition shortly thereafter. And people said to me, oh man, you deal with that Charlie Ringo and that black Charlie Ringo. Then they called me up. Could you get Charlie Ringo to write a letter for Matulu Shakur? He wrote it. We can have influence in that arena. And in my beloved East New York, because of the December 12th movement, Operation Power, East New York is not gentrified. Bed-Stuy is. East New York is not gentrified. You know why? Because we have the power by way of the city council. When a developer came into our neighborhood and said they were going to build affordable housing, we said affordable to who?
That's right. Make it plain.
We will define affordability. I remember when they came into my office and said affordability is 80% of the AMI, the area median income. And that affordability is like people making $100,000 for a family of 3 household income. We said, no, sir. We're not doing that. Every new housing in East New York, and it's over 20, 30,000 units, not one is market. Everyone is according to the income of the people of East New York. You can't tell me you're going to build something for $100,000 for us to get in when my area median income is $35,000. I asked the developer, I said, sir, what is my neighborhood AMI since you're saying you're going to build something affordable? He didn't know. This meeting is terminated. He said, I'll look it up. No, sir. This is terminated. I waited 3 weeks. He came back, and I said, now what is it? $35,000 for a family of 3. And you talk about affordability is $80,000, $100,000. We don't have not one market rate apartment in my beloved East New York. Not one. This is a great time to be alive. We've seen a transition that I haven't seen in a long time. You know, in the 60s, we were hoping that it would go further than it did. And the COINTEL program just wiped out every leader, every organization they could. But there's a revival now. And the central to our liberation is the unification and liberation of Africa under socialism.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's central to our liberation.
Yes, sir.
I dig the fact that the December 12th movement goes to Zimbabwe,
Yes, sir.
leading the way. They got angry at me in the city council. They said, because my heroes was Muammar Gaddafi, Robert Mugabe brought him to City Hall.
Yes, sir.
They said, Charles, I came into the speaker's office. I said, Speaker Miller, guess what? I got an African leader coming to City Hall. He said, great. I said, is the red room available? The most prestigious room. He said, sure, Charles, it's available. And then he said, well, who is it? I said, Robert. He said, oh, no, you didn't. He said, oh, no, you're not. I said, whoa. I didn't come here to ask you permission.
Right.
I came here to tell you that was going down, and I want to use the red room. We did it. Mugabe came. We had a whole lot of press, whole lot of people. D12 was right in front of that. I got so angry with them. See, they didn't want him upstairs in the chambers, because that's the most prestigious room where we all meet. And every time he would come here, you know, they would lock him out of all of these government places. So I got in there. I said, you know, it's getting kind of hot in this little red room here. Is anybody up in the chambers? The staff person said, no, you can't use the chamber. I didn't ask you that. I said, is anybody up in the chambers? No. I said, come on, y'all. We was in the most prestigious. Then when I got up there and I saw all the media there, I grabbed the president's hand and raised it, because I knew they were going to put that in the papers. Put a raised hand. We gotta not be afraid. We gotta have some African spine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And have no fear. You know what they say about fear? F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. It ain't real, y'all. Their invincibility is not real. So I'm just excited today. Excited that we are winning. And they want you to believe that they're invincible. But we are winning all over the world. They had a BRIC conference in Africa. Where all countries are coming together in Africa, Brazil, China, Russia, everybody, and saying, no more IMF. The International Monetary Fund is going down. The World Bank is going down. Right? The World Trade Organization is going down. The American dollar is going down. The euro is going down. All of that money that they thought we had to have is going down. The British pound is not worth a nickel. This is happening all over the world. You are winning. This is a worldwide revolutionary struggle. For this age and this time and right here in the belly of the beast, we got to strike a mighty blow in the belly of the beast.
Yes, sir.
And that mighty blow has to get rid of neo-colonialism. The new way to colonize us is to put black faces in high places. They know that you're winning. They know that you're winning, so they said, let's give them Eric Adams. Let's give them Barack Obama. Let's give them Tish James. Look at New York State. Look at all of the black faces in high places in New York State. The head of the assembly, black man. Head of the Senate, black woman. Attorney General, black woman. Mayor, black and blue man. Public advocate, black. DAs, black. borough presidents, black, and we have more black poverty than we've ever had before. These are neo-colonial puppets of a colonial capitalist system that's controlling our communities that are domestic colonies. Come on. And to you to be a domestic colony, you got to rise up. Somebody said to me, well, how come the Palestinians are rising up and they've only been oppressed for 70 years, 100 years, and we've been at it for 400 years, 500. You know what happens? A friend of mine told me that he was in the army and they told him if you get captured, you've got to try to escape as soon as possible. Because if you stay too long in that captive position, you're going to get weak. You're going to try to survive it instead of escaping from it. So we are trying to survive. Capitalism got us in a survival mode. We've been down with this thing so long that we're trying to survive it instead of changing it. Amilcar Cabral said it best. People are not fighting for ideas in your head. They're fighting for material benefits and for a future for their children. We're going to win because we're on the right side of history. We're going to win because we're African. We have a dominant African spirit. It can never be killed. There's no amount of technology that can destroy the African spirit. So we got to rise up. You only live once. Nobody's beating death. Believe me, all of you are going to die. So it's not how long you live, it's how well you live. Black power! Black power!
Black power.
Black power!
Well, so now everybody knows about the New York State Reparations Bill, right? Is there anybody who doesn't know the New York State Reparations Bill? It was passed in June. The governor hasn't signed it yet. So what our job is, because out of black solidarity, there's always got to be some things to, some work to do. Our immediate job is to continue to call the governor's office every day demanding that she sign the bill. In addition, those of us who are New York State citizens, call your electeds, because most of them signed the bill. They can't, because what will happen is, if she doesn't sign the bill by December 31st, that's right. You got to start all over again. The electeds are going to say, well, you got to call your elected official, tell her to call the governor, demand that the governor sign the bill, because that's what she's listening to. If she's listening to an elected who's got votes that are going to get her votes so she can be reelected. So we got to, when we leave here tonight, people have got to call Hocul. You got to get your friends to call Hocul. We got to keep pushing that so that it gets resolved this year. Some elected say, well, she promises she's going to do it. It don't mean nothing until she signs it. That's right. And so that's one of the things that we want people to come out with tonight. The other thing we wanted to talk about very quickly is around the issue of reparations. Although this New York State bill is important, that's not going to be the resolution of reparations in this country. It has got to be the federal government. Yes. It's the federal government that made all of that possible, to let slavery continue, to let the profiteers continue to profit. So we've got to continue. We fight this battle, but it's a battle, it's not the war. So what we want people to leave with is an understanding that in the final analysis, our demand has got to be on the federal government. When Biden was elected, we started a campaign, and Charles mentioned it. We started a campaign around Biden signing an executive order. So the executive order doesn't require Congress. It requires his signature. All he's got to do is sign it. We said $50 billion for health care as a down payment. That's right. As a down payment on what's owed, and that it be devoted to developing the best health care facilities and technology for our community, because everyone is affected by health. Even if you're young, you may not have any health problems, but people you know and love are affected by that. So our position was that would break the ice in terms of health care. So we're still making that demand. And as Charles said, he's got, he had our back. He found money through executive orders to send to Ukraine, taking care of Israel. We're always last and least. And that happens because we have not put enough pressure on him to react to that. So that's what we got to leave with. But we got to leave with that in our mind, that we have control over what we do and over the people that claim to represent us. We've got to push them to the limit, to the point where they see that if they don't do that, they may not be reelected either.
That's right.
You know, there's too many of them are sitting. I just wanted to say, you know, Sundiata's here. In our campaign around reparations, we end up with a lot of allies. There's a sister from Ancover named Kenneth, who, when we had the rally in front of the press conference in front of Governor Hocul's office last week, she said that she's down in D.C. She said there's a group of Japanese descendants in the U.S. who support reparations for black people. They wanted to come, and so they came last week. And this sister Emily over here. About if she had known Yuri Kochiyama, because we knew Yuri went way back in terms of support for the black liberation struggle. And I told her the first time I met Yuri with him was at the trial of the Panther 21 in New York. And Yuri was handing out a flyer that talked about how you could make a homemade Molotov cocktail. So Yuri and her husband and her family, they were solid supporters of the black liberation struggle. So I just wanted to say a shout out to you for coming out and carrying on that tradition.
Let me say, straight ahead for people who came out tonight, because that's what you were supposed to do, was come out tonight. And Brother Zayd, as you said, the bottom line is that we said black solidarity cannot not exist. And there was a reason why, as you laid out, it was before. There's even more of a reason why it has to be now. Right now, they're talking about giving over 36,000 automatic weapons to the settlers in Israel. The reality is, for our people, if you remember a little bit of history, it was Israel in the north and South Africa in the south working together around murdering our people. The reason it is not happening in South Africa like it's happening there was black unity in Africa to get that apartheid system out. That didn't happen in the north because those other countries sold out. Let's just be very clear. They sold out, and they sold the Palestinians out. But be clear, as Councilman Barron said, when you have a place that you live and people come in and take it, and the next thing you know, they act like you shouldn't be there, let Israel and Palestine be a lesson for us, brothers and sisters, right here.
That's right.
Because they are murdering Palestinians on TV.
That's right.
And all around the world, people are rising up in opposition to it, but they don't give a shit. So let's be clear. The same ones that are killing Palestinians, that's what they have in stock for us right here, because we're the greatest contradiction for them in the United States.
That's right.
We are the contradiction.
That's right.
Our 30 million Africans in this country, we are the contradiction. And what they said to us through Palestine and Gaza, we're coming for you. We're coming for you. So the reasons why black solidarity existed before, as you heard Carlos Russell said, it was time for us to exercise our power. And let me say to young folks, yes, we need to be in the streets, but we also got to be disciplined and believe in what we do. 5 minutes ago, it was Black Lives Matter. Where is that now? Where is that now? Bottom line is, we've got to understand what's happening and build unity around what's happening. And to me, it's not how many organizations, it's the quality of the organizations that you're talking about. It's the history of the people that you're talking about. It's the discipline of the people that you're talking about. It's not just being in the streets, it's what do you believe in that puts you in the streets that you're talking about. And so I'm saying this evening, our Black Solidarity program this evening, because we said, well, what's happening, Brother John said, who's talking about Black Solidarity Day? We said, who's talking about Black Solidarity Day? We are.
I was just going to raise that the point the comrade from Staten Island raised is exactly what they raised. And that is a united front. Right? That's a united front. And that is a very conscious way of dealing with unity and going to our various organizations and talk with them very honestly about what's going to be the move. See, because we have to stop asking these crackers. I'm telling you, we have to stop asking them. And I think Councilman Barron raised the point that was inherent in what they said, and that was fear. Now, if you camouflage the fear with a bunch of talk, with a lot of organizations, right, with all of the things that you can use to camouflage your fear, right? Then drop it. Come out with it, fight for it. Nothing concedes power without a real demand, not a real, you grab the cracker, and that's the real demand. We see Hocul walking to her office. We don't have to touch her. But if 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 angry black people escort her to her office, we make the point.
That's right.
And at some point, we've got to make the point. We got to
believe.
You got to believe.
You gotta believe.
You got to believe. And you got to get rid of the fear.
That's right.
Of all the things that we're afraid of.
And the elect that you're talking about, they have no heart.
That's right.
And they don't believe.
That's right.
It's not on their agenda.
That's right.
It has to be on ours. She's not scared of them. That's why her position is, I'm not doing it. She was in Israel. Yeah, she was in Israel. The highest level of anti-Semitism in this country comes from white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
That's right.
But you know where she was? In Israel. So I'm saying there's some things we'll say publicly and there's some things we won't. But the bottom line is we got to believe. It don't take 1 million of us
To do anything.
Don't take it. But they got to know and they got to feel us. If they don't feel us, and our people will know us when they feel us too. And straight ahead? Straight ahead? Straight ahead. What's today?
Black Solidarity Day.
What's today?
Black Solidarity Day.
What's today?
When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid